For the longest time, making images with AI, it really felt like magic, didn't it? You'd type a few words, and bam, something amazing would just pop up. But we're kind of moving past that now. It's becoming less about just waving a magic wand and more about, well, craft. So let's dive in and talk about how you could become the art director for your own AI visuals.
The power we have now is just staggering. Imagine you have that perfect vacation photo, but it's totally cluttered with tourists. Well, with the right prompt, you can just erase them. Gone. You get a clean shot, just the scenery, exactly how you wanted to remember it.
And it doesn't stop there. You can literally pull a subject from one photo and drop them into a completely different world. 1 second you're posing in a studio, the next, you're in a monkey enclosure at the zoo. It's a total rewrite of reality.
This stuff even applies to the real world. You can feed the AI a picture of your own backyard, a space you see every single day, and ask it to dream up a brand new, beautiful landscape. It's like having a world-class designer on call 24/7.
And the commercial uses are just as wild. Let's say you need to see your logo on a perfume bottle for a new ad campaign, or maybe on a t-shirt. Done. You get instant product mock-ups without ever needing to make a single physical prototype.
It all looks so effortless, right? Like you're just telling the computer what to do. But here's the thing. There's a huge misunderstanding in that idea. To get these kinds of results, you have to learn a totally new way of communicating. So how is all this actually possible?
Okay, here's the secret. The AIs that write text and the AIs that create pictures, they speak completely different languages. On the surface, they seem similar, but their core logic is, well, worlds apart. So here it is, the crucial difference. With a text AI, you give it instructions. You use verbs, right? Write a list, summarize this article. You're telling it to perform a process, to do something. But with a visual AI, you don't tell it how to draw. Instead, you describe the final image as if it already exists. You're painting a picture with your words. And this is the mindset shift you have to make. You're not a programmer telling a machine what to do. You're an art director. You're a cinematographer. Your job is to describe a scene with rich, vivid language, defining the subject, the environment, and the exact mood you want to capture.
So, what does that actually look like in practice? Let's break it down. We're going to look at the anatomy of a great visual prompt by building a complete scene from a super simple idea, just layer by layer.
The key here is to stop trying to write one perfect, long prompt right out of the gate. Instead, start small and build on it. You begin with a simple subject, a koala. Then, you add context to make it a character, dressed like a gentleman. Now, put him in an environment, standing outside a bar. And finally, you define the style, vintage Polaroid. See? Each layer adds another level of detail, turning a vague idea into a really unique and specific image. Okay, but what about the things you don't want? This is a classic trip-up. You might think you can just say, a party with no cake. But for an image AI, that's a huge mistake. It hears the word cake, and its training data just screams, cake! So you're actually more likely to get one. The solution is the negative prompt. It's a separate field where you list all the things to avoid, like extra fingers, text, watermark. It's how you guide the AI away from common screw-ups without totally confusing your main description.
All right, once you've gotten the hang of describing the scene, the next level of control comes from thinking like a cinematographer. It's not just about what's in the picture anymore, it's about how the picture is being taken.
And this right here is your toolkit. Using these established terms from photography and film gives you so much power. Instead of just a woman, you can specify a close-up shot. Instead of just outside, you can ask for dramatic side lighting during the golden hour. You want that cool, blurry background effect? Add shallow depth of field, or even specify an 85mm lens. Each of these words carries a ton of visual meaning for the AI, letting you precisely control the entire mood and composition of your shot.
So, you've directed your still image. You're an art director. But what happens when you add the element of time? Prompting for video builds on everything we've just talked about, but it adds a few critical new layers. Describing a static scene is one thing, but video's all about change, action, and movement. So how do we translate our art director skills into directing a moving picture? What's the new language we need to learn? We basically need to add 4 new layers. First, and this is the big one, action. What is your subject doing? Be really specific and try to focus on a single clear motion. Second, camera movement. Is the camera just sitting there, or is it a dolly shot pushing forward? Does it pan left, follow the action? Third is pacing. Is this happening in slow motion? And finally, with some of the newer models, you can even add audio cues. Describing sounds like water splashing helps the AI create a much more complete sensory experience. Now, of course, this technology is still really new and it is far from perfect. You're going to run into some weird results and super frustrating errors. But the good news is, these are known problems, and the community has already figured out some clever ways to get around them. You've probably seen these, the infamous six-fingered hands, text that looks like some kind of alien language, or a character whose face kind of morphs from one shot to the next. In video, you'll see bizarre physics or a flickering, where details just randomly change frame to frame. These are all symptoms of the same root problem. The AI has no real, three-dimensional understanding of the world. It's a brilliant 2D pattern matcher, but it doesn't fundamentally get what a hand is. But here's how you fight back. To fix something like a weird hand, you use a tool called inpainting to just regenerate that little area. To keep a character looking the same across different shots, you can lock in the composition with a seed number and reuse hyper-specific phrases to describe them. And for video, to avoid that uncanny physics stuff, you use narrative chunking. Just break your complex scene down into simple single-action shots. These techniques turn you from a passive user into an active problem solver. So when you put all of this together, a really clear and powerful idea starts to emerge, and it's probably the single most important thing to remember if you want to master these tools. Here it is, the most important idea to take away from all this. Your real power with these tools doesn't come from writing code. It comes from communicating a vision. So embrace your role as a director. Use that rich language of cinematography. Get really specific with your descriptions and build your scene layer by layer. That's the craft. That's what turns a simple thought into a stunning visual. The speed of progress here is just mind-blowing. Just a couple of years ago, none of this was even remotely possible. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question. If today we can direct entire scenes just by describing them with words, what kind of worlds are we going to be able to create tomorrow?